Today I'll share 5 examples of how you can improve your e-commerce product pages. I'm Mogens Møller, I'm CEO and co-founder of Sleeknote. And if you want to learn how to optimize your product pages with insights from Walmart, Best Buy, eBay, Zalando, Sephora, AliExpress, Zappos, Amazon, Wish, and many more, this video is for you. I've been taking a deep dive into the customer journey on the biggest online stores in the world. I've been doing this by watching 240 usability tests with eye tracking, both on desktop and mobile. Today I'll share the most low-hanging fruit
delicious.
from all these usability tests about how to optimize your product pages. In this video, you will learn why placement of the different elements on the product page is so essential. You will learn how to avoid UX traps with good old breadcrumbs. You will learn how to make product carousels that customers actually use. You will learn about a golden moment to do upsell and cross-sell. And finally, you'll learn the one thing on product pages that every single person in my usability tests praise to the skies. Before I jump into the specific tactics to improve your product pages, I have one critical message for you. And this is tip number 1. Placement of elements on product pages is essential. In my usability tests, I got a lot of feedback about how the elements on the product pages were prioritized. One of the main things that caused a lot of frustration
Oh, come on, man.
was the position of product descriptions. Some websites were too busy trying to get people into the checkout flow as soon as possible, so they simply forgot to describe and actually sell the products. For example, on eBay's desktop site, people had a hard time finding the product description. The same on Best Buy and on Walmart. In contrast, users loved how easy it was to find the product description on Target's desktop site. Newegg also got a lot of praise with their old school way of prioritizing their product page elements, especially if you're selling consumer electronics. This is key. This was the case for desktop. As a matter of fact, the situation is even more critical for mobile users, because it's easier to, well, screw the whole thing up on a smaller screen. Users got pretty annoyed while browsing on the product pages at Walmart and also at Best Buy, because they had to make an effort just to find something as basic as a product description. Zalando's product pages, on the other hand, got a lot of thumbs ups from the users. Their toggle tabs that display further information were simple but powerful. Sephora also got a lot of praise for their layout of the mobile product pages. Especially their how to use information helped businesses to a great extent. And finally, Zappos received lots of positive comments about their product page layout and the placement of different elements, especially because they prioritized product descriptions on their pages. Now it's time for our second tip, a simple but important thing. If you get this wrong, your new visitors will become annoyed and frustrated. Remember the breadcrumbs and avoid UX traps. You might know the old German fairy tale about Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel are 2 young siblings, kidnapped by a witch living in a house made out of gingerbread, cake and candy. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Well, because one of the most important elements of any e-commerce product page carries the same name with a clever move Hansel did in the fairy tale. Before they were kidnapped by the witch, Hansel and Gretel were forced out of their home and deep into the woods by their evil stepmother. But on their way, clever little Hansel left a trail of breadcrumbs so he and his sister could find their way back. The breadcrumb path was a smart move by Hansel and has almost been a convention in online stores for the last 20 years. And it makes great sense, because when we browse a website and jump between different products, we often lose the overview, like here at asos.com. Or when we land directly on a product page through a Google search and want to see more products in this category. Now we don't want to click back, because that will just take us back to Google. This is when the breadcrumb becomes particularly handy. Ironically, the huge German retailer Zalando is ditching its country's old fairy tale. They have removed the breadcrumb on their site, which caused a lot of frustration in my usability tests. Instead, Zalando substitutes the breadcrumb with a link to the brand page just above the product name. During my tests, no user found this link helpful or relevant. They just missed the good old breadcrumb. High five to the American website Target.com. that shows a clear breadcrumb at the top of all their product pages. It's time for a quick little power tip. This is tip number 3. Show clearly how to browse through the products in product carousels. Almost every online store recommends related or similar items on their product pages, often at the bottom in a horizontal line. This is fine, no harm done, yet. On desktop, websites can typically show 4 to 6 products at once, and on mobile, most websites show 2 products at once. Also fine. The problem occurs when websites want to show more items and make product carousels. It has almost become a norm for graphic designers to illustrate image or product carousels with small dots at the bottom, like on Sephora. This is a very dangerous norm because not all users know that these small dots refer to a carousel that can scroll or slide. In fact, 75% of users in my test didn't recognize these dots. However, there are a few simple solutions to this problem. You can add big arrows to the left and right side of the carousel, like on Cult Beauty, which clearly illustrates that you can view more products. Or you can show 2.5 products like on Amazon, which also makes it very easy to see that there is a horizontal line of products I can slide through. It's time for our 4th tip. There is one golden opportunity to focus on upsell, the moment a visitor adds a product to their basket. In my previous tip, I talked about showing similar products at the bottom of product pages. Many websites also recommended visitors to buy a specific item together with the products they are viewing. This is an effective tactic to increase visitors' total basket value. Unfortunately, most of these up and cross-sell attempts I saw in my usability tests were ineffective. You might think this is probably because of irrelevant product recommendations. This was true in some cases, but it wasn't the main reason. The main reason was the timing and position, meaning when and where the related products were presented and not so much which product were recommended. When online stores showed the up and cross-sell options directly on their product pages, for example below the product description or in the right column, almost no one interacted with them. But a few online stores showed these up and cross-sell options at the moment when the visitor added a product to their basket. Bingo! The online stores that followed this practice up and cross-sold much more than those who didn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't show related products on your product pages. It's a highly effective strategy to guide your visitors, especially as inspiration when people are window shopping. But consider showing these up and cross-sell options at this golden moment too. Speaking of which, a quick tip about add to cart boxes. On desktop, don't let these boxes disappear by itself after, for example, 3 seconds like here on H&M. Many people in my tests didn't see the box before it disappeared and ended up adding the product to the basket several times. On mobile, this is not a problem because the Add to Basket box typically takes up a lot of space on the screen and is hard to overlook. If you want to be on the safe side, always let your visitors close the box themselves. I never heard any complaints about this in my usability tests. In this video, I've shown many cases and examples of what not to do on product pages. Let's turn things around for my 5th tip. In this tip, I don't have any negative examples. Everyone who did this got plenty of praise. This is my tip number 5. Reviews are a safe hit. Everybody loved websites with product reviews, even though the reviews were not all positive. All the websites that displayed reviews on their product pages got many compliments from the testers. People simply loved to see products that were rated by other customers, even though the ratings were not necessarily positive. Several people in my usability tests even said that when they buy a product in a shop from another country, reviews are a must. They don't even consider buying from a shop at all if they can't read other customers' ratings. 40% of all people in my usability tests shared this opinion, and 90% of those were under the age of 25. So reviews are absolutely a necessity for young consumers. Many websites do a great job here, for example Wish, or Designer Shoe Warehouse, AliExpress, and Nordstrom. So, did you learn something new from today's video? Then make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. And if you want non-intrusive and personalized pop-ups on your website, head over to sleeknote.com and start a free trial. Also, if you want us to do usability tests and do eye tracking on your online store, or benchmark it against these big websites that I've tested, just send me an email on mm@sleeknote.com. Now I want to turn it over to you. Which of the product tips from this video are you going to use first? Are you going to place the elements of your product page differently? Are you going to implement breadcrumbs and avoid UX traps? Are you going to redesign your product carousels? Are you going to use the golden opportunity to focus on upsell when a visitor adds a product to their basket? Or are you going to show more product reviews? Either way, let me know by leaving a comment below right now. Product pages were prioritized on product pages that every price before they were kidnapped. This is a very dangerous. Remember the breadcrumbs and avoid UX trap. UX trap. It's a UX trap.